Work besties, happy end to 2023. What a year it has been. And today I'm going to be sharing 10 lessons that 2023 has taught me. So the first lesson is that conflicting emotions can exist at once. While I was extremely confident and excited to make a huge move in my life this year, I was also terrified and really uncertain, and giving myself the space and grace to just allow very conflicting emotions to exist at once has been a very valuable lesson of mine that carries to many different parts of my life. Number 2, you do not need to accept the first offer. Everything is up for negotiation. So whether that's in your personal life, your professional life, the first offer, think of it as a conversation opener. It kind of opens the doors, something to work off of, if you will. I have learned that if something doesn't sit right or you don't like something, you can ask to change it. You can negotiate to change it. And if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So you may as well ask. Number 3, which is a very simple one, but a very hard one to put into practice, I can find at times, is that if you don't like something, change it. Stop talking about it, stop wishing upon it, stop being like, oh, I'll do that when this time in my life comes. If you want to change something, just do it. You know, I was anticipating a huge change in my life for years. And at one point I was like, I'm exhausted about talking about this. I need to just do it or shut up about it and let it kind of get off my radar, if you will. And I think too, a hard one with this one is oftentimes, whether we like to admit it or not, we're kind of deeply wishing or hoping or thinking maybe the universe is going to change this for us. Maybe someone's going to come along into my life and everything's going to fall into place how I want it to. And everything's going to, it's going to catapult the change. Be your own hero. Be your own change maker. Don't wait around for someone else to make the change in your life for you. Own it and do it yourself. Number 4 is you need to take care of yourself in every season of life. So whether you're doing really well and feeling really energized, or you're not doing too well and you need a little extra oomph, you need to take care of yourself the same through every season of life. And maybe it's not the same way showing up for yourself, but you need to show up for yourself and make time and space for yourself in every season of life. I got caught up a little bit in being like, well, things are going great and I feel so good. And I kind of let that me time slip a little bit, or that prioritization of self. And then I was like, hold up, things aren't so good anymore. What happened? And I realized that I stopped prioritizing myself even when life felt really nice. Number 5, stretch more. Just stretch more. I have stretched consistently for years, and this last year there were a few months where I just kind of let it fall off the radar. I was busy with other things and I was like, I don't need to stretch. Wrong. I did need to stretch, and I feel it in my body. I feel younger when I stretch consistently. Number 6, your energy and your presence are valuable. Don't give it out to anybody and everybody. Notice who sucks your energy versus who helps you re-energize. Not everybody that crosses your path in life is deserving of your energy, and that's just the reality of it. I think we need to treat our time like money. Our time is very valuable, sometimes more valuable than money, and we need to take note of how we're spending it, who we're spending it with, how we feel with people we're spending it with. Notice who's depleting you versus who's actually adding to your life, adding value to it. Also, just the note of, just because someone has been in your life for a long time doesn't mean that they still deserve the same amount of time or your energy. I think we often equate how long we've been in a relationship of whatever capacity with someone to how much time we should be spending with them and energy we should be spending to them, whereas I'm kind of flipping that now to say, okay, who do I want to spend my energy with? Forgetting about who in theory or who you've learned that you should want to spend your energy and time with, and looking inward to say, okay, who do I actually want to spend this time with? Number 7, get it in writing. Always. Professional, personal life, I don't care, get it in writing. It has been a practice of mine for years now that I have tried to get everything in writing. Even if I'm like, you know what, I'm going to remember that. No need to send an email about it. No, send an email. I need those details down because I might forget. As much as I'd like to believe I can remember absolutely everything, I can't. Turns out. It's been a savior this year for me of just having things written down. Everything in writing, from my to-do list to work prioritization, tasks, deliverables, expectations, anything like that. Just having everything in writing so that when I'm working on something, I have something concrete to refer back to instead of trying to play the memory game, because that has proved this year to not work as well. Number 8, there's a big difference between existing and living. There's been many times this year where I found myself going through the motions, the routine of life, the merely existing, day by day, everything's starting to feel a little mundane. It's like the same day's been on repeat for so long. And then there's been moments this year where I felt so alive and I felt excited about life. I felt a different kind of passion towards the things I was doing. And I'm starting to take note of where I was when I felt alive, who I was with when I felt like I was really living, what I was doing, the environment I was in, all of that. Just starting there's a difference between existing and living. And that's not to say every single day is going to be the best day of life and you're always going to have this appetite for life every single day. No, some days are going to be really boring. Some days you're not going to feel as motivated. Some days you're going to, feel like that routine, and that's okay. But just noticing how many days you've spent existing versus living, and are you okay with that? Number 9. Distance creates intention. And this was, of course, brought on when I moved across the country from my friends and my family. And what I've noticed is distance really makes you become more intentional with having to allocate and set aside time to connect with those that aren't within close proximity to you. I can't call up a friend anymore, but hey, let's grab coffee tonight. It's let's plan a trip where you come out and see me, or I come see you, or we go somewhere. And then that time spent together, it's just brought on this new spark of intention, I think, where I know our time together is limited. And so I want to be really present and in the moment and intentional with that time. The idea that distance creates a lot more intention, I've become very aware of that. And number 10, which is a great one to end on, is you define your own version of success, and not everyone's going to understand it or agree with it, and that is completely okay. But just know that what success means to you doesn't have to be the same definition that others hold for it too. And I think this is a really important one to remember when, the outside world loves to look in and judge your life, and people love to deem whether or not you are successful. And I think that it's an important reminder to know their definition of success and what they're measuring you up against is a completely different definition than you hold for yourself. So not that it discredits their version of success, but that's their version of success for them. And your version of success for you looks wildly different, and there's nothing wrong with it. And you define your own journey and success and what that looks like for you, which is quite a beautiful thing. I just think it's important to note that you don't need to adopt the definition of success that society or others in your life have told you that you should. You get to define it on your own. And also remembering to give others the grace of letting them define success on their own, and not trying to get people to live up to your expectations of success, but really taking a step back to understand what they define as success. That is 10 things I've learned in 2023 to close out the year, work besties. I hope you've had a lovely end to 2023, doing whatever the heck brings you joy. We'll see you in the new year. I'm excited for what 2024 is going to bring. I have a good feeling about this year, and I don't say that every year, but I have a really good feeling about 2024. I'll see you in the new year, work besties. Toodaloo.